50 rupees. What do 50 rupees get you today? Not a movie ticket, not a plate of biryani, not even a football. But for the same money, you can buy a seat to watch your favorite football superstar play in India's top league. And yet, the stadiums are empty. Have we simply given up? Let's find out. This is Let's Talk About Indian Football. In this episode, we are joined by two voices who have seen the game up close. Dalima Chhibber, a national team player, and Raman Vijayan, a former national player and head coach of Gokulam Kerala Football Club. First up, we are joined by Dalima Chhibber. We talk about the state of women's football in India and the struggles young players face. A defender for the Indian national team with over 50 caps, Dalima is a two-time SAFF champion and is remembered for a stunning 40-yard free kick in the 2019 tournament final. She has also won the Indian Women's League with Gokulam Kerala.
Thank you, Dalima, for joining us, first of all.
Thank you.
Dalima, that you have played for FC Pune City, you have played for Kerala FC, you have played for India Rush, and you have also been overseas and seen what the football scene there is. You returned in 2023 and you signed with Kickstart for 23-24 season. Is that correct? Or is there an update required on that?
No, that's correct.
So you've been around for long enough. Under 16 also you were a prodigy you've played at that level. Before we get on to discussing what the latest developments are, unfortunately, in Indian football, what has your experience been like? Because I can tell you, I'm a football enthusiast. I have friends whose children play. They've played nationals. I've seen some of the conditions that the children play in. The incentives are not great. What was your experience like before we get to the current problem and how to fix it?
So my experience has been a mix of a lot of emotions, mix of a lot of experiences, good and bad. And I think what has carried me through is just the pure love for the game. And if I go right at the beginning, being a girl, and I think I've spoken about this quite a lot, that being a girl, being a young girl, wanting to play football and make a career out of it, dreaming, like having a dream of earning through football and making that a profession and a career as well. Since the beginning was a difficult choice to make, a lot of struggle, and going through the experiences, the situations that the sport puts you in, especially in India, the conditions that you have to go through just for the pure love for the game. And you go through those situations and you come out on the other side. I started playing football 20 years ago. It's been 20 plus years now since I've been playing. And I started as a 6-7-year-old, wanted to play the game. My first ever tournament as an 11-year-old, played an under-19 tournament that was interstate. And then, of course, under 13, India, under 16, under 19, and then on to the senior team. And to wearing that Indian badge also, it's been 15 years now. So it's been a mixture of a lot of things, I would say. It hasn't been a straight line. There have been a lot more downs, a lot more struggles, a lot more difficult situations that I've had to go through to be here. But of course, the good is that there is something in women's football, that there are eyes, people are catching the attention. There is some sort of attention coming in. The league is sort of getting professionalized. We have started having the league starting 2017. So, of course, the struggles, a roller coaster ride.
So when you say the experiences in spite of which you continue to play, you're talking about, we've seen those, the sleeping on the floor in trains while going, no bookings, or the conditions of the living arrangements during nationals. Like, what are the kind of experiences that would you think really disincentivize people from pursuing this? Because I know two people who've stopped playing purely because of this.
So I think starting right from the travel, of course, the traveling in general trains, traveling 3 nights, 4 days. I remember we had a national in Guwahati in Assam, and we had to take a train from Delhi, and it's not an easy ride from train. And it was a general train. It wasn't even like a Rajdhani or like an AC train. We took the train. It took us 2 nights, 3 days, if I'm not wrong. And there were instances where two people had to share the same berth because the bookings were not there. And even when we traveled for a lot of nationals, the entire team was just in one room with different mattresses. Everybody could just choose the mattress that they wanted. And across teams, there were like common washrooms that had to be shared by the players. And when we come to nutrition, the food, it was just the basic dal, rice, and some sort of a vegetable. And sometimes the protein would be there, sometimes it would lack, not proper amount of salad. So, of course, like all of those experiences are like something that you learn to put with because you are chasing a dream and to achieve a dream, you want to follow a dream. And of course, for the love of the game, like I've been mentioning a lot. So I think these are some of the experiences that we have had to go through. And early on in the with the national teams as well, we've stayed in hostels. We have had we didn't always have like 4-star hotels or like 5-star hotels that we would stay in and we would train, or like the best ground facilities that we would train at. It eventually came in. But of course, those were the struggles, those were the situations that
But
you
it's
had
still
to.
erratic. I'm just wondering what determines, because I know for the Khelo India, which happened in Bihar last year, the arrangements were amazing. It was like even the junior teams, under 17 teams were put up in like 4-star level hotels. But the
Correct.
same year, I know the interstate, they were playing in the afternoon at 44 degrees. The snack was puri aloo. It was like pathetic. And that also, you couldn't sit anywhere and eat it. Why ground pe khalo?
Or a
So,
samosa or a
yeah.
pakoda.
So I'm like, and the same year. So, I mean, how is it that one tournament gets a 4-star, 5-star treatment in Bihar? Of course, there was election last year, so I can understand there's something to do with that. But and another tournament has just, have you noticed a pattern in this in all the years you've been playing, that when is it good, when is it not?
I think when I was growing up playing the sport, it was the same across the tournaments. But also at that time, we had one tournament that we would wait for across the year. That would be like interstate, like our national football championship. It's me now that Khelo India has recently come in, and I haven't played a Khelo India because I was graduated from my college as well. So I never really had that opportunity or a chance to play a Khelo India or experience that. So for me, mostly it was like just playing national football championship, that interstate nationals that we would have once a year, and then India camps that I would be in. And eventually in 2017, the IWL League, the Indian Women's League, started happening. But again, it started with like a 2-week tournament, a 3-week tournament to now where we have home and away games. But having to talk about the difference in the facilities and the situations at the moment, I feel like that sort of comes from the different organizing committees and the amount of funds, of course, that are allocated, or like the concern or like the awareness that is given to the needs of an athlete and a player. That makes a big difference. And otherwise, because other than that, I don't really see a reason for the situations to be quite different for across different competitions, because again, Khelo India is a different organizing committee, and when we talk about interstate national football
It's a
championship, that's a
different
different
committee.
committee.
And the budgetary allocations also from different sources.
Yes,
And
yes.
are men and women treated? Because I know that was a huge issue. There was a documentary film made. I'm
Yeah.
pretty certain you must have watched it. The US team, when they were fighting for equal pay. Are the facilities for men and women starkly different in India, like it is for many other countries?
They are, and
Okay.
they have been for a very long time. But I would say that at least both the national teams have started to get the same amount of facilities to stay in and the grounds to train at. Although that is also something that was starkly different uh, earlier on, a few years ago. That was also like very different when it came to the difference between men and women's football. And of course, like the list is like really long when we talk about the differences on the men's side and the women's side as well, for sure.
I see. Now, I have spoken to several coaches, partly in this series that we're recording, partly otherwise when I meet them, people in it. They say that Indian women will win a World Cup way before Indian men, because just the sheer potential is so much bigger there. Now, I'm sure you've been seeing the rather unfortunate situation that ISL has come up with. Many of the people I've spoken to say that, I mean, that's unfortunate, but the fact is that unless we build, you know, at the ground level, hundreds and hundreds of football players, no ISL will kind of create that level of excellence. It has to be a 10 to 15 year program. And we've come up with several very doable and specific suggestions. One, what do you make of the mess right now? And what suggestions do you have to fix it? Let's take one at a time.
I would say I would talk about like the situation at the moment. It's rather unfortunate because again, for me, if it's that unfortunate, it just makes me wonder about a youngster who's training every day and he wants or she wants to be a professional footballer in India and who wants to make a earning. It's rather unfortunate because for them, they are sort of left in a dilemma or like a situation, whether it's like, should I do it or should I give it up? And I feel like that is not a situation any footballer would rather want to be in. And given the situations that are there, I feel like the situation where it all starts is like right at the ground level, right at the foundation, which is the grassroots level. I feel like everyone is pretty well aware that there used to be a program that was introduced long before called the Indian Arrows, where the young talent would be caught at a very young age and they would stay in a similar facility together all around the year. And they were given the same sort of nutrition, same sort of coaching, and same sort of guidance that would require and that is required for the development of an athlete. And I just feel like once you start at the basic level, because from that program, there were a lot of players that came out for the senior national team. There are a lot of players that are playing at the ISL level, at the I League level. So, of course, when that sort of level and that sort of exposure is given to you at a young age, it develops you into a human being who's able to adapt to different situations. Now, when we talk about an athlete and when we talk about sports, it's so dynamic and it's ever changing. How do you prepare an athlete from who's growing up? How do you teach them to adapt to different situations? How do you tell them that every situation in the game as well is going to be different and how to take decisions by themselves and understand what the game is? Given that, how do you help the players transition from under 19 to under 23 to senior team? Now, that is also very different. Now, given that when I was also under 19 and I straight away went to the senior team, it was a great change. There was vast different in terms of how an under 19 team functions to how a senior team functions.
Like, give me some examples, please.
Professionalism, for example, it changes. Like in the senior team, a lot of the players are left by themselves. You are responsible for yourself, that you take yourself to the gym. You take yourself to do the rehab exercises. You take yourself to the physio. You do whatever is required. You're more aware of what your body needs. In an under 19 team, if that athlete is made aware, because education again plays a very big role. And that takes me to my next point, because when we talk about athletes and when we talk about India, there is a vast difference within players because they come from all parts of the country.
Right.
There is a difference in their education levels. There is a difference in how much knowledge everybody has.
Right.
And now, again, that is a player just doesn't know what their body needs, what is nutrition, how important nutrition is, how important recovery is. That is something that you have to be taught. Now, whether there are some players now on one side, there are some players who have that access, who have the people.
And the exposure, they've got,
Exactly,
sure.
exposure. And there are some players who come from backgrounds where they're not even exposed to education, for example, or education that is necessary for them to make themselves a better athlete. Now, am I being educated? Am I being made aware? Is the knowledge being given to me that what is it that I need and what I require?
So it's just not your skills on the ground. You also have to be taught to think what you need to live this life. And that is not there.
Correct. Because now, if I talk about myself as a woman footballer, I am with my club right now. The league is 3 months, 4 months long. I am with the club for 3-4 months. In the middle, I am with the national team for 1 week or 2 weeks. Other than that, I'm left by myself. Now, when I'm in the camp, I'm taking care. When with the club, I'm taking care. What do I do when I'm not with the team? And now, when the team comes together, they all go back to different parts of this country. Even within a state, they're from different cities. So now there literally is like the ratio comes down to one player in a city. So now I am left by myself. What do I do? How can I keep myself fit? Who do I reach out to? For example, if I've been given a feedback, let's say that these are the things that I have to work on. How do I improve on those? Who do I go to?
And do you even have access? Because you may live in a city, there so many tribal girls are playing, who do they go to?
Yeah. So again, education, awareness, accessibility, there are so many things, but we have so much talent. I have seen players who come from, who are from villages where they don't even have a ground, but they've picked out the rocks, they've thrown them away, they've leveled the mud ground and they play bare feet. But when they're given an opportunity in a match, when they come to play a state league, let's say, they perform outstandingly well and they have the talent to play for the national team. But like, how do they get there? How do we get that talent to a platform where they have the accessibility? How do we provide that access?
So there's no ecosystem to funnel the talent, identify and channel them to some sort of a large catchment from where you then train further, filter it down till you have the finest 11. No such system exists. Jo aage aa gaya.
Correct. And whoever, for example, we need money as well. Like if I have a money to buy a train ticket to go and play somewhere, because no club out of nowhere, for example, if I'm from a village, no club is going to ask me to come because they don't know me. They haven't seen me. Now, do I have the money as well to go and be there? So how do we actually reach the talent who are in the villages? How do we go and see? So of course, it comes down to reaching. And I understand that it's hard to reach every corner of the country and like get the talent and grab the talent from everywhere. But that is why there has to be a scouting system. There has to be scouts who are like, for example, even if we take 2 scouts per state, I'm sure 2 people can cover the entire state. It might take them a month, but it still gives them 11 months to prepare that sort of talent and the years ahead. Like, prepare that talent, catch them young, prepare that talent. So, and why I say that is because when I went to Canada, Canada women's team, and I'm going to talk about women's football because Canada women's team, they won the Olympic gold medal. So from the school system, under 14, the talent is caught. There are 3-4 centers of the Canada women's soccer, their national federation. They have 3-4 centers. Whatever is closest, they go to that center. They are placed there. So they train the whole year. They do their education over there. They train the whole year under the nutritionists, sports psychologists, strength and conditioning coaches, football coaches, team coaches, goalkeeper coaches, assistant coaches by the Canada Women's Soccer Association.
Wow.
And whenever their national team call-up comes, wherever the teams are collected, they go together and play. So there is some sort of consistency. There is some sort of a plan. There is exposure. And also there is accessibility to resources. Because if that player is also left at their house, at their home, with their family, there are going to be days when family is going out. You would want to go out. The food is not going to be the same that an athlete requires.
Sure.
When a player is with the team in a system, they have that sort of resources and that sort of accessibility to develop into a kind of a player that they want to be. And holistically as well.
So
because it's not just... Yeah.
Sorry, finish your thought before I...
I'm saying because it's not just learning how to play football, but it's like a holistic development structure of where you know what you have to eat, where you're guided what you should be eating, how much strength and conditioning exercises have to be done, your technique is taken care of, your mental health is taken care of, everything from A to Z is taken care of.
So you spent time here, you went and checked out the Canadian team and saw how they are trained. I mean, what kind of timeline, and I understand that, you're young and there's lots you have to see yet, but just from your experience as a player, and you've seen enough since you've been playing since you were a child, and your parents are also football players. Um, do you think it is a 5-year program, a 4-year program, a 10-year program? If we want to create that team that can beat Canada at the Olympics, is just raw talent with 2 years of training enough? Or do we really need a much longer vision in how we're going to create this ecosystem?
First of all, personally, I feel like it's not like a 5-year plan, 6-year plan, 10-year plan that can really help. Basically, a cycle for me, I feel. Catch the talent raw. You're training under 14. Under 14 graduates and goes to under 16. Under 16 to under 17, under 19. And of course, along the way, there are going to be players that are going to drop out of the sport. Some may have injuries, some may have other reasons. There are going to be dropouts in which some of the other tournament, a player catches an eye, performs extraordinarily well, is included, of course. But it's a cycle. Because what I see is, even at the university level, what I've seen is a player that is like, you go from under 14 to under 16 to under 17 to under 19 to under 23 to senior. It's a big cycle. And while there are senior players retiring, there are more under 14 players coming in. So the players also have a path that they can look at. Okay, this is what I have to do, because a lot of players are lost. I see a lot of people, a lot of players, young players come to me and ask me, what do I do? Like, I want to be a footballer, but what do I do? I know how to play, but where do I go? But state leagues happen separately. There is no scouting system in the state league because if the player is performing, then the eye, like nobody is really seeing them. IWL too is there, IWL is there, but how does a player who's playing in the state league get to the IWL club?
So what do you answer when they ask you? What advice do you give?
So for me, my father has an academy. He has a football club of his own. And when young players come and train, we develop them. We look at a holistic development. We develop them into players. But of course, it took me a long time. It took me a lot of struggle to carve a path out. But of course, I tell them the steps of National Football Championship, playing for your state, because again, it's a National Football Championship. There are going to be some scouts that are going to be there who are going to look at you. And it's also what I do as a way of giving back to the sport as well and to help the youngsters. I mentor kids in a way of helping them as to what they can do, because there are some who aspire to go play outside. There are some who want to play professional, and depending on their capability, I help them go for trials. I help them go and try out and get selected only based on their talent. If they're good enough, the club finds them good enough, they sign them. If not, they come back, they work on themselves.
So you give them access to an opportunity, but there is no systemic,
No.
process by which you can say, follow that process, it'll get done. That doesn't exist.
No. Because I, till now, like even 20 years after, I don't see a process myself. Like for me, it has been every time I'm playing, just keep playing your best, somewhere something will click. And
So you can't really plan.
so there is no,
client.
there
That's-
is no
that's
sort
really
of
sad.
planning. Because when I started, for me, there was just one thing that was like to play for India. I didn't know how. I didn't know when. And it was like every game that I was playing, I had to prove myself. Somewhere somebody saw me playing with the boys. I got an eye of someone. I got a call for the tryout. And then when I went to the camp, it all worked out. Because back in 2010, 2009, even like national football championships were like pretty less. And under 14, under 16, like we weren't even aware that they would happen.
How do you
So-
start playing football? When did you start kicking a ball around, get onto a pitch?
So the funny thing is that I don't even remember. I was that young when I started playing it. But I think somewhere around 7 or maybe even younger than that. I don't even remember. Like I was that young. So it just happened over time and it worked out. Somebody saw me playing with boys, picked me up, called me for a tryout, because that is how it would be done before. That somebody would see you, somebody would ask, okay, like this player is good, give them a try. People would gather to play together, India camp would happen, and then we would get selected.
I see.
Based on talent, yeah.
And can you explain? Of course, I'm sure conditioning, growing up with football players as parents has something to do with it. But why do you love the game? What's so special about football?
That's a very good question. And I just feel like I am just happy when I'm playing the game. And so I started with athletics initially. I used to be a 100-meter sprinter, 200-meter sprinter, and a jumper. And I did that until I completed my bachelor's. So I did that long because again, individual sport, team sport. But I just felt and I was just happier when I was playing football. It was just like, and I also grew up because my father is a big Brazilian national team fan. So I grew up watching Ronaldinho, Roberto Carlos, Ronaldo, all of the legends. And it was just it. And of course, I've grown up watching Ronaldinho, and he just make football look so effortless, so much fun that I just caught up with the game, and then one thing led to another, and it just became who I am.
And one observation I've got from coaches who have, again, worked in India, they've worked overseas. They say that even some very talented Indian kids, they have a tendency of injuries way more frequent than their European counterparts. And that's because we don't teach them balance. We only teach them skills and how to kick a ball. We don't teach them how to fall. We don't teach them how your body has to be flexible, what parts. We just teach them football, not body. Is that changed, or have you found that Indian kids, even the very talented ones who may have a chance, the propensity of injury is more than their European counterparts?
I just feel like from like my personal experience, like I mentioned before, you catch the talent young, and there has to be everything that needs to be taken care of. And I mentioned SNC. And that is where sports science comes into play. Of course, the inclusion of it has come even in academies in India, is what I've seen. At under 10 players as well, I see coaches teaching them how to just do a body weight squat, how to jump and land. And I think that is very important, something that was that people and the coaches were not really aware of initially. But that is something that has certainly caught the attention. So, of course,
It's
that
changing.
sort of culture has changed. Coaches and people have started accepting SNC as an essential part. And SNC, I would just like to mention that it doesn't only mean lifting weights and doing strength. There is balance, there is proprioception, there is mobility, there is flexibility, there is strengthening, there are like various aspects of it. There are plyometrics, there are isometrics, there are so many things that you can do. You do not necessarily need to lift heavy weights. Strong to be agile on the field or to be fast. And even an under 10 player can do an SNC workout without lifting weights, with exercises that are good for an under 10 player and would help him prevent himself or herself from injuries.
So SNC is strength and cardio. Is that what SNC is?
And conditioning, yes.
And conditioning, I see. Typically, tell me, what is, your nourishment like? Do you count the amount of protein that you're consuming in a day? In what form do you consume it? What do you avoid eating? Is sugar completely off the table for athletes like you? Just for the youngsters who may be watching, what are the kind of things that you watch out for?
So for me, I have grown up in a house where, like you mentioned, that both of my parents were athletes as well. So growing up, my mom would always make every meal, all the healthy meals at home. And also there would be like one day of a week dedicated to where we would order food from outside or something like that. Because again, we had to be, so I have an elder sister and a younger brother as well, and both of them were into sports as well. It's a family of professional athletes. So that was well taken care of at home. And if I talk about my meals, it was always a very balanced meal, made of whole foods, no preservatives, no frozen bought food and then air fried or fried or something like that. Everything made from scratch at home. There's nothing better than eating whole foods.
I see. And gymming 2 or 3 times a week is a must for a football player. Running on a daily basis, even during off season. What is the nature of exercise that you do to keep yourself match prepared?
So it is said that you need minimum 2 sessions of gym a week to maintain your muscles, not build it. If you're not able to go more, minimum 2 sessions of gym are quite important to be able to maintain your muscle and your muscle mass. And again, gym workouts don't really include only just strength training. It is a mixture of a lot of things: balance, speed work, quickness, focusing on plyometrics, explosiveness, a lot of those things. Cardio comes in it as well. But again, when I train for football, doing a football training, a football workout is cardio in itself. But even a long run or like a 3 kilometer, 5 kilometer, 10 kilometer run once a week as well is good enough, because a player doesn't even realize, but while training for football as well, in 1 hour, they end up running 4 to 6 kilometers easily without even realizing. So other than that, a long walk, if not a jog in a week, is also good. So that is what sort of my schedule also looks like. I prefer, because it's been very long. I've had injuries over a period of time. And to protect myself and make myself injury and protect myself from injuries, I go to the gym 4 to 5 times a week. If I'm not able to do a field session, then of course I compensate it by going to the gym or going for a run or something like that, like just keeping myself active. And on Sundays, mostly I don't like just laying around. I do an active recovery, which is like playing pickleball, if that is it, playing badminton, playing a different sport,
I
or
see.
like a long walk.
Just
Yeah.
some activity.
Some activity, yes.
And, thank you so much. You've given me over half an hour. Just one more question. You grew up in Delhi. You're a Delhi girl. I have been in Delhi ever since I became an adult. But I still play every Sunday, even though I'm really old now. But the AQI is so terrible. I sometimes wonder, can we create world-class players if they have to play every day on a 200 plus AQI, and some days it's 4, 5, 6, 700? Is that a real threat to the budding athletes of Delhi? I mean, if you were to open an academy tomorrow, the superstar Chhibber has retired in 2035 and she's opening an academy. Would you choose NCR?
I wouldn't. I feel like the Delhi AQI and everything is a threat to just people living there.
Living normal
And
lives. Athletes to chhodi do.
yeah, and I feel like people have also, like, even me for that matter of fact, we've gotten accustomed to just having, little bit of cough for
Through
the
the year.
full 2 to 3 months, or
Yeah.
getting up and sneezing every day. I feel like everybody's just gotten used to it. That's become the new normal for everybody. Like Delhi NCR and even me. And I feel like that is not something that should happen. That we shouldn't think that it is okay to live with such conditions. Because when I have gotten out of it, like I said, for example, I play for Gokulam Kerala FC as well. And when I go to Kerala, like, it's a different story altogether. You're
You
young.
actually feel different? You physically feel different?
Yeah. The AQI is so much lesser. Like, you can just feel the difference in your breathing patterns when you're running, when you're jogging, or when you're walking. There's a lot of difference, and that is when it actually starts to hit you when you try to understand. Because when you're just like there in Delhi for like a long period of time, you just sort of adapt to it and it becomes your new normal. But that shouldn't really be it, because I feel if you want to develop world-class athletes, you need world-class facilities. And there is no other way out of that. Athletes need accessibility, they need resources, because that is the only way they can develop and they can make themselves better. Every day in a village, if an athlete just keeps going to the ground, football, khelo, they go for a tournament, they play, they get injured, they come back. So
That's
you
not
want
enough.
to have world-class athletes, they need world-class facilities and they need accessibility to resources. There is nothing other than that. And I think there is a reason why we see US performing extremely well, because they have a system and a culture of sports, not only in the football clubs, but down to their schools, down to their universities as well.
Yeah.
And that is why we see China doing exceptionally well. We see Japan doing exceptionally well. We see Canada doing exceptionally well. We see England doing exceptionally well. So there is a reason why athletes are so much better in some parts of the world because of the resources and the facilities that they are providing. Because we see Indian athletes going outside of India and using the facilities and training and making themselves better.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Those are the players that come back, they win medals for the country as well.
And let's start with world-class air. But thank you so much, Dalima, for giving us time.
Of
All
course,
the
thank
best with your football, and we hope to see you take India to greater and greater heights.
All right, thank you so much.
Taking the conversation forward is Raman Vijayan, a former India striker and National Football League top scorer in 1997 to 98. He earned 30 caps and an SAFF title and is best known for his golden goals for East Bengal. Now a coach, he leads Gokulam Kerala's women's team. He is also the founder of the Raman Vijayan Soccer School.
So thank you so much, Raman, for joining us. Where are you joining us from right now?
I'm in Chennai.
Nice.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Such a wonderful podcast.
No, my pleasure. We want to get people who Indian football can actually get ideas from. Your experiences go a long way. But before we get to that part of it, where you tell us what you think would work to make Indian football better, you have played for the leading clubs in India. You have played as a boy. You've represented India in the Asian Games, in the SF Games, and now you're a coach. But let's start with your years as a player. You had a fairly long career. What changes did you see from early in your career to the latter part of your career? And did football administration, like for example, when you played, we beat Philippines. Would we be able to beat Philippines today? Not even close?
Doubt.
Now tell us, rather than going upwards, why has it gone downwards?
I have started from South. My playing career was with Indian Bank in my earlier days. So I was, every player in that, in South, we dream to get a job through whatever sport we play. So I joined in Indian Bank for a, job purpose, as well as I wanted to play football. Okay, that's all. And once I joined Indian Bank, fortunately, we start playing in bigger tournament like Federation Cup, Scissors Cups, Santosh Trophy, whatever big tournaments Indian Bank used to play. Then we had lucky to meet with all big clubs in Mohanban, East Bengal, in Salgong, Tempos. So, and personally, I wanted to play for the country. So I wanted to move somewhere where I can establish myself as a footballer. So I wanted to play a professional footballer. So that I have no idea what is professional football, but because at that time bank job was my in white collar job, very secure job. But I dared to resign my job and I joined East Bengal. That was the biggest move what I've done. And in that moment, everyone was saying that you are doing a stupid thing, that this is the best opportunity no one get, but you are doing it. But for me in that moment, I wanted to achieve much more better than what I'm doing. So then on that moment, I joined East Bengal. The same time I got in national camp. So both were in the same time, and I was selected for pre-World Cup, and that was we played in Qatar World Cup qualifiers for 1996. My debut goal where I scored against Philippines.
And so, that match India won 2-0, correct?
Yeah. Myself and Bruno scored the late goals.
Just one quick question, Raman. Just so our audience understands, back then in the 90s, like Indian Bank, Railways, Tata Steel, a lot of these companies gave jobs based on sports. So they would give you a secure job so you could pursue your sport and reach a level of excellence. That was the purpose, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that tradition still followed of government jobs on the basis of sports quota, some private, jobs, whether it's banks, whether it is infrastructure companies on sports quota, or has that tradition slowly gone away?
Yeah, slowly gone away. Not much like earlier. That was every single organization was giving job in that day, that time. and the players were plenty, and wherever if you get in a university, if you represent a university, you'll get a job. If you play a state in any under 19 or 20 whatever, you get a job. So most parents wanted to send their children because they get a secure job in railways,
And
banks,
it's an opportunity to move out of villages,
Yeah.
smaller place to big towns, big cities.
Big
Correct?
towns. Yeah, because I was in near Madurai, I moved to Chennai because of the job. So where from Chennai I moved to Calcutta. Though, so most of them they stopped there itself. I only step up and wanted to go and play a professional football.
So how did you get into football? You're not from an academy, like the Tata Academy or anything. You just were. Your talent was spotted. How? Like, how did you suddenly rise from a small, town or village? How you'd pronounce? How you would define your, native?
Actually, my father, mother, both are physical education teachers. So I born in a small village called Kantramanikam near the Sivaganga district in Tamil Nadu, south part of Tamil Nadu. Then there are the sports hostels who run by government of Tamil Nadu. So the Sports Development Authority of Tamil Nadu who runs sports hostels. So we joined in sports hostel Madurai. I start my career at age of 12. So from there, is a residential hostels. So where we get education, the same time will football coaching as well. So slowly I studied in 5 years in sports hostel, and then I joined in a university. I start playing for the state university. Then I got
and that's where your talent was spotted in university.
Yes,
finally, when you reached
Yeah.
right, and then you got your job, moved to Chennai. When you moved from Chennai to Mohammedan Sporting, you said, right? That was your first, or East Bengal?
No,
East Bengal. So when you moved to East Bengal, you had to move to Kolkata. Is that correct?
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Correct.
And financially, was there parity in your job and how much you were paid there, or there was? I mean, of course, I understand the security aspect to it, but was there a financial incentive, or it's just that now I'm a pro? That is the only incentive.
बस कुछ नहीं सोचता मैं because मैं फुटबॉल खेलना है बस मेरे को I just moved. People were saying, see, you are getting now a small salary, but when you become an officer or chief, whatever, you'll have a secure. What all the stories they said, but my full of dream was to play for East Bengal, to wear East Bengal colors. So when I got an opportunity, I just moved. Maybe I got a very, very few lakhs, maybe 2 lakhs or something the first year, which whole year salary, but which was very, very big money in that time. But
sure.
I just moved.
But that was not your incentive. Your incentive was pro football. I will play football as a pro. Bus.
Yes, itna hai. So I see chala gaya. But the decision for only me, I don't know. Even I don't know what will happen there, whether I will succeed or whatever I can stand. I had to resign my job. That was a very critical time where everyone were asking how you are going to leave the job and go. But I tried some because whether I can get some leave or kind of transfers kind of thing, but it was not happening because that time is Indian Bank also playing I League, Indian National League.
Right.
So I had no chance, so I had to resign the job.
I see.
But it was a very big risk.
And what was the move like? What was your experience as a professional? How has professional football from then changed to now? And I would just like to say, while I get the glitz behind ISL and all but if you just see back then, all the pro teams, whatever talent they spotted, we beat Philippines 2-0. We beat Nepal also 1-0 in your time, right?
Yeah.
Today, Nepal, I know we've lost to both those teams and rather easily. So I would assume that this whole ISL and the professionalism of making a professional league would have taken our standard up. But the opposite has happened. Can you please tell me why?
See, there are a lot of reason behind it. I wrote one big article maybe in 4-5 months back in Facebook regarding this, because when they were sacked Manolo Marcus, I was defending on him because there was only coach who came to India and changed Indian football and Indian players. Because many of them, they don't agree, because there are a lot of coaches came to India when ISL for national team. That Manolo Marta is the only person who took over Hyderabad team. There were no stars, nowhere. He took 3 years to win the championship. He showed the people, and he produced players. Like in that 3 years, he produced players. So that is the only coach I have seen so far in Indian football from abroad, who came to India and proving still. But India, in our days, we had very few exposures, to. We never had an opportunity to travel Europe. We never had a travel to for the competition camps and all. Hardly we flew only 2-3 countries to play before the World Cup qualifiers. But now everything is there. But I'm talking about why we couldn't do it, because we couldn't produce quality players. Because on those days there was a lot of players were in the second tier tournaments. There was a lot of second tier tournaments being encouraged everywhere in the country. Now, if you see, there was very few states who host this second tier tournament.
So what you're saying is, for the top tier, you first have to have a lot of second tier that comes up, and that also ties in with a lot of sports quota seats in jobs. So that entire pyramid comes up. So finally we had talent like you, Bhaichang and all. And even if you didn't have exposure, now you're saying you have exposure, you have coaches, but the bottom-up approach is gone.
Yes, gone, completely gone. Because when you see, if you go and see, because nowadays Santosh Trophy was our biggest tournament in the country, because a lot of talented players has been identified from that competition. Now that Santosh Trophy is no value at all. No one even watch. No state even give preference, give importance to that. But in our time, the Santosh Trophy is the last tournament who we all love to play, because we love to prove those, so that we.
That's where you get spotted. So where does talent get spotted today? What are the tournaments where it gets spotted now? Or there is no such tournament?
No such tournament. Only people are just talking about I-League, only talking about ISL. Whatever, now thousands of lakhs of players are playing in various levels where they are not eligible to play for the country. They are only ISL and I-League players only will carry our Indian flag high. Rest of them, what they will do? Because where we are producing players, where we are.
So for example, someone of your background today cannot be identified because he will never get a chance, because ISL you have to be in the city.
Yeah, you have to be in the city, because when you come, because it's simple. Last 10 years, Tamil Nadu association is not functioning. Okay, but still we are sending players to play for the Santosh Trophy. There is no tournament happening. There is no, only the youth I-League. That is the different criteria. The raw talents are there still. They are playing for 7-a-side, Cape, ye vagera kel ke ghum rahe. But they have not, given the proper platform to them, where they will come to the next level. Where I got an opportunity, I played a small town. I got identified. I played a, Indian Bank. I started playing this big tournament. Then I moved to the bigger club. This is the pathway we had. Now if
there is no pathway.
No, because all channels are being cut down. Because all agents got inside, only they make players.
So unfortunately now they are trying to move top down, create an ISL and then move, and it will not work like that because you will not get talent.
Yes.
I see. Can you tell me, as a player, what are the kind of experiences which you think, like I know of several people who have, especially girls, whose parents have stopped sending them to tournaments because conditions, they said, we are not comfortable with the safety aspect. Unreserved train, they're going, no tickets, sitting next to, on the ground, etc., etc. How were the conditions of travel, of bookings when you had to travel back in your time? And have they improved now?
This one I won't agree fully because in nowadays more worse than this, because
Sure.
we used to travel by unreserved compartments, levels. When we reach only the flights, when we reach in East Bengal, Mohan, only we in the national team we start
Yeah,
playing.
that is at the
Yeah,
top level, but at the
yeah,
lower
yeah.
levels.
So everywhere, you have to travel by bus or train, whatever. Okay, that one, because now the monetary thing are improved, and parents are healthy, so they wanted their children to be not to suffer, because they have been trained to be in a comfortable zone or something. But फुटबॉल खेलने के लिए कभी मैं फ्लाइट में जाएगा, जब खेलेगा वो ट्रेन में कंफर्टेबली बुकिंग करके जाएगा, ये सब आई डोंट एग्री, बिकॉज आई ये फुटबॉल इंडिया में ऐसी जगह से बच्चा लोग आता है, ऐसी जगह में आके बहुत बड़ा बड़ा प्लेयर बना, वो अभी मैं वो आई डोंट बिलीव ऑन दैट. बट यस, yeah, the days are changing, but comfort zone is come everywhere, in the dressing room, in the training ground. All they want to be very comfortable, but the real core thing they are missing, because they don't want to play aggressive for our club, for this one. They are not giving their best. But बाकी सब मिल रहा है आपको. आपको 5 स्टार होटल चाहिए, अच्छा रहने का, खाने का, सब कुछ. फुटबॉल तो खेल रहा नहीं ना. वही फिर कहाँ से उसके लिए क्या करेगा? Where they because they don't demand, but हम लोग we demand ourselves. We wanted to give their best, whether तुम कोच बोल रहे नहीं बोल रहे, को क्लब फैन बोल रहा नहीं बोल रहा, मैं खेलेगा. I played whenever I go. I wanted to
that
score.
raw passion.
Yeah, raw passion. That passion is gone.
And why do you think that passion is gone?
Because of the comfort zone. Everyone the comfort zone, the wealthy, because everything you are getting easily. मैं एक बूट खरीदने के लिए बहुत सफर करता था, एक दूसरा बूट खरीदने के लिए मैं बहुत सफर करता था, क्योंकि मेरे पास पैसा नहीं था. जब अभी बच्चा लोग, they have choice of ordering boot in online. ए नाइकी ठीक नहीं है तो पूमा ठीक नहीं है तो उधर, उसका choices है. they are now, capacity of spending is very big now. they are easily सब मिलता है. हम लोग का क्या सफर करना है, समझ रहे हैं? So if I want to earn big money, I want to work hard. ये साल तो मैं 2 लाख में साइन किया ईस्ट बंगाल में, and next year 12 lakhs मिला मेरे को, because of the hard work which I have done for a whole year. Then only I can able to earn that much money. So now the player who doesn't play even 5-6 games is getting a full money of 60 lakhs, 70 lakhs. वो क्यों सफर करेगा? Why he wanted to play for the country?
And there is not enough game time also happening even at the tournament level?
Yes, they're not. See, some players getting 3-year contract. They hardly play 1 year. जो injury होगा, 1 साल वो खेलेगा, 4-5 मैच. Next year जो भी हो, 3 years का contract money उसको मिलेगा. एंड मैं क्यों सफर करेगा? सेम अमाउंट जो लिखा है उसमें कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में मेरे को मिलेगा. व्हाई आई शुड वर्क हार्ड?
So you're saying that contracts should be performance driven?
Yes, absolutely. This is what I am telling to everywhere, wherever I go. The contract based on your performance each and every year. Okay, not just like that you just polling money. Now everyone is suffering. Because I know openly, so the overpaid players are all over India, because they have now, because they are following the many because ISL following all Europe say जो system, Europe से जो coaches, जो training programs, method of conducting, everything is there. But अपना जगह अभी भी है. We are not rising up, no. So this is what we wanted to address.
Now you're a coach. What advice do you give to youngsters who come to play? I have been told by some people that even Indian kids have talent. Of course, they don't get that kind of exposure, game time, etc. is an issue. But the tendency of injury seems to be higher. Do you find that?
Being a coach, I always advise the parents and the players. Don't come with big dreams like because nowadays parents or players or both of them, they carry the big dreams. लोग आके बोलेगा वो अब मेरा बच्चा इंडियन टीम में खेलना है, मेरा बच्चा ISL खेलना है, आके वो just a beginning, they are putting pressure on him that he has to so because I've been involving developing in grassroots footballers for more than 15 years, because I have my own residential academies. So I travel all over Tamil Nadu and pick up players and give them a residential academy. In that, what I found is there is a two category of players there. Once you come from rural villages, once come from big towns. Okay, there we are two parents also. Deep down village parents and high profile parents. Okay, so there is a two category of people I'm meeting. What I found is from this rural villages, kids have a natural immune power and natural talent and the motor skills that comes naturally from where they are living. When you go to high town, big town children, where you have to teach them the motor skills. Okay, the motor skills is most important for the grassroots, because we used to swim, we used to climb in the tree, we used to jump, we used to run cycles.
It is very outdoors life.
Yeah, this is basic thing which automatically we develop when we are in villages. But when you now we are in a very big community, you don't have much facility. You are very stiff, and when you have people have so many coaches, they have to teach them the basic, how to walk, how to jog, how to balance yourself. These are the things are major thing, because so the adapting any sport is very much easier for those kids who comes from the villages. But even though these kids comes from town, they're very intelligent, but the adaptation time is very long. So we have to balance both. Okay, but these two players are very important. Okay, these two players are very important. When we make in a proper training program, we can definitely bring a better personalities of professionals. The parent side is very, very important, because now all parents are involving, bring up their children on sport. So in that moment, there are a lot of demands from the parents, a lot of expectation from the parents, there are a lot of pressure from the parents. That is not a healthy thing. What I
so basically, from very young age, there's too much pressure on the child to make it. You have to make it to Indian team. You have to make it, and that doesn't work well for kids.
उसका वो एक 8 साल का बच्चा को क्या नेशनल टीम खेलने का, उसको क्या मालूम है, उसको क्या ISL खेलना है, उसको क्या मालूम, उसको आना है, उसको एंजॉय करना है, उसको फुटबॉल खेलना है, फुटबॉल देख के थोड़ा माइंड फ्रेश करना है, चले जाना. Yeah. So, but these parents are putting pressure on them that ये वो अभी से उसको खाना, ये खाना है, वो ये ड्रेस लेना है, ये बूट पहनना है. That I think that is too much for a child to carry, because that is very, very healthy. But these kids, अब जो भी करो, जो भी खाना खिलाओ, जो भी सुलाओ, कहीं भी रहेगा, वो कहीं भी अडॉप्ट हो जाएगा. They are very strong. So, but these two carry, but the intelligence also is very important. The education also very important, and the proper training program. These three will definitely help. If you want to make a better country. So I've been experienced for this for last 15 years. But my advice to everyone that education also is very important. To be honest, because how many players are playing in ISL? how many players are playing for national team? What is their, after football, after
Then
playing
what?
career, after their retirement? Yeah. So where I'm seeing top class stars, are not wealthy, not able to survive after the retirement. I start, educating people, telling people, by पढ़ना ही है, कंपलसरी तुम पढ़ना भी है, फुटबॉल भी खेलो, पढ़ाई भी करो. If you don't success in football, at least something you can survive in this world through education. I have a lot of success stories, but there are a lot of failure stories which I didn't bring it, because that worries me a lot. मेरे को वो बहुत मेरे को खराब लगता है. जो प्लेयर जो अच्छा शिवशक्ति मायाकंदन सब आईएसएल खेल रहा है मेरा एकेडमी से, ऑलवेज पीपल से रामन विजयन एकेडमी से ये सब खेल रहा है, बट मुझे ही मालूम है जो प्लेयर नहीं खेला, जो प्लेयर ऐसी रास्ता में घूम रहा, कोई काम नहीं होके घर में बैठा है, उसका खाने के लिए भी पैसा नहीं है, उसके लिए मैं क्या करेगा? वो भी विश्वास होके आया, वो भी कुछ करने के लिए आया. So what this country is giving you when you pick up the sport, what your countries guarantee you that you will survive through sport? That's the biggest question.
Right. And final question, Raman, if I were to ask you, what are the top 3 things we should start doing today at a, big picture level, administration level, so that we can have football excellence in the next 10 years? What are those 3 changes you would make today?
See, the top Indian coaches has to work in grassroots.
Okay.
We don't have top coaches are coaching our grassroots children, grassroots footballers. Okay. All top coaches are wanted to work in top clubs. They don't want to work in grassroots. But the proper, remuneration, we wanted to give a good, proper coaches for our grassroots development.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that is one thing. So you need like A-level coaches down here so that they can train. Okay, that is one change. Second?
Yeah. Second, this second tier, third tier tournaments has to give much more importance to identify more number of players. Entire country. This has to be done. It's not I League, जो भी AFF I League चला रहा है, वो Youth League चला रहा है, ये नहीं होगा. We should have every state have big leagues and small tournaments, second division, third division, जो भी होगा, local FA जो भी, उनसे बहुत सारा players आएगा. जो वो बंद हो गया, वो फिर re करने पड़ेगा उसको. Okay.
I see. Okay. And one more.
And yeah, definitely we should have the scientifically or modern football में बहुत सारा कुछ आ गया, but implementation of Indian coaches को so नहीं है, but they are all working as assistant coach, जो भी कहीं भी जाएगा आप foreign coach dominate करता है.
So we need to train more Indian coaches at the top level.
Yes.
Top level.
Yeah.
And so there is some sort of a curriculum for this. There is some sort of a program for this, a course for this. How do you train Indian coaches at a mass level? Their colleges.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. See, ISL 14 clubs, I League जो भी 10-15 clubs होगा, वो छोड़ के आपको अच्छा सैलरी कहाँ मिलता है कोचेस लोग को? कहीं नहीं है. We should have a proper salary also, whatever, because they wanted to survive. Because of the salary, they just wanted to higher salary. They are looking at the ISL, that exposure also. If you get a proper salary and the exposure in other levels, definitely these coaches get more exposure.
So you have to incentivize them at that level. Okay.
Yes. So these, I think, these are the things may bring some changes. Because आप सब लोग long term plan, grassroots development बोलता है, कहाँ से grassroots, कैसा grassroots development है, वो देखना है. Grassroots development is properly happening in India? No. grassroots development not जो 4-5 academy है, और जब TFA था, टाटा फुटबॉल एकेडमी था, वो टाइम में बहुत सारा प्लेयर्स आया सब क्लब्स में, बाद में सब जगह, बट whether all these academies are able to produce players for the country, no. So these are the things are missing, and we have to do it, because especially women because I'm involved in women for last 4-5 months. I'm with Gokulam FC, so I'm handling women footballers. Now women footballers can reach the top level, instead of men, because we have a lot of
Talent,
chances of,
the women.
already
I've heard that from a
But-
lot of people.
but the grassroots program is not happening at all. When you are going to under 17 Asia Cup, if you go 10 to 17 years, if you go entire country, if you go and find where is the proper grassroots happening for women, for girls, nowhere, very few, somewhere, whoever खुद का इंटरेस्ट में जो रखा है, उससे कैसा टीम बनेगा इतना। हम लोग का एशिया कप के लिए खेलने के लिए जो स्ट्रॉन्ग बच्चे लोग कहाँ से मिलेगा, इफ यू डोंट हैव अ प्रॉपर पाथवे। यहाँ पर अभी करना शुरू करना है, बिकॉज मे बी अनदर 5 to 10 years वी कैन एबल टू विन एशिया कप, और जो भी सेमीफाइनल पहुंच सकता है, और वर्ल्ड कप भी जा सकता है वुमेन में, बट एटलीस्ट वी हैव टू स्टार्ट वर्किंग ऑन सीरियसली, बिकॉज आई थिंक मेन के लिए बहुत सारा है, लेकिन बॉयज के लिए बहुत सारा है, गर्ल्स वुमेन्स के लिए कहीं कुछ नहीं है इंडिया में, बिकॉज आई नो I've experienced this IWL recently, because many of the players doesn't have basic skills. We never thought properly, because जो भी गांव से आता है, जो मणिपुरी और नॉर्थ ईस्ट बच्चा लोग, जो naturally they are very physically good, they are adapt to anything, they kick well, they run well, so that they are just straight away उसको ले लेगा, straight away उसको under 17 में खिलाएगा,
there's no
but
training.
properly they are not trained, they are not properly in youth development programs. That's what I'm saying. We need to have a proper youth development program, so that you will get a proper result for the country.
Thank you so much, Raman, for making the time. Really appreciate it. And it's a pleasure talking to you. Of course, one has heard so much about what kind of magic you used to make on the field. Do you still play?
Yeah.
You do?
We still play.
You make sure you make sure
we have about 40-50 group of players. We used to go and play every week. We play some tournament.
Uncle League, the Uncle League.
Uncle League. But we played really good football.
I can imagine. I have no doubt. I do not have a doubt. But thank you so much for making time. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much.